Welcome to An African Adventure. Storytelling encourages children listening skills, obviously making them better livers. Today we'll be listening to the story about the singing drum, and we'll also be going on an adventure to Olumo Rock. Olumo Rock is a popular tourist attraction in the city of Abeokuta, which is the capital of Ogun State, Nigeria. We'll also get to learn a craft. My name is Aola. Do stay with us.
Abeokuta. Abeokuta is the home of the Egba people, a major Yoruba-speaking tribe from southwestern Nigeria. Abeokuta means underneath the rock, a veiled reference to the place of refuge of the Egba people during the War of 1830 to 1833. Olumo Rock is a significant landmark in Abeokuta, which is itself the capital of Ogun State of Nigeria. A climb to the top offers the viewer a bird's eye view of the entire town and the famous Ogun River, which meanders slowly across the landscape.
You are welcome to original Abeokuta. Come. Where are you now? Egba people is a good 3 years, 1830 to 1833 under this rock.
History has it that Olumo Rock was the wartime hideout of the Egba people when they fought for independence from the Oyo Empire. While the men went to war, their wives and children were safely hidden away in the secret passages and crevices of the Olumo Rock. Olumo or Olufimo in full, when translated from Yoruba language, means where God put an end to our wandering and suffering. Today, Olumo Rock has developed into a modern tourist attraction with flights of stairs and a mechanical lift to help visitors scale its 137 meters height. A bid to reach the top is quite a challenging climb. Climbers can experience a unique adventure by passing through a narrow secret passage between two massive rocks in order to get to the top of Olumo Rock. Determined climbers are rewarded with a spectacular view of the town, Abeokuta. Abeokuta, jewel in the Ogun River.
Hello children!
Hello, Auntie.
Today I'll be telling us a story titled The Singing Drum. Once upon a time, in a hilly town called Ikire, there lived a boy whose name was Atilola. His parents loved him so much because he was the only child, and they made sure he lacked nothing. They would never let anyone reprimand him even when he behaved badly. And as a result of this, Atilola grew up to become a selfish, spoiled child who found it hard obeying instructions. One day, Atilola's mother was making him lunch, and he rushed in. "Mommy, I want to go out to play with my friends." The mother took a quick look at the quickly darkening sky. "Make sure you play in the neighborhood and do not go venturing into the valley. The sky is heralding rain," she warned Atilola. But as usual, Atilola was in such a haste to go play with his friends, so he did not have time to listen to his mother. "Let us go and look for honey in the beehive down at Onyi Valley," Atilola said to his friends the minute they were gathered at the edge of the village. The boys agreed, so they made their way on the narrow path at the edge of the forest to Onyi Valley in search of honey. As they approached Onyi Valley, they noticed the sky was beginning to turn grey. And at the first thunderclap, BAM! The boys panicked. One of the frightened boys stepped out. "I want to go home," he said. The boys laughed at him, but saw it that it was a good idea. And soon, they all decided it was time to go home. "Not me!" Atilola yelled. "I have come here to look for honey, and I am not going anywhere until I find some." "But you cannot find honey in the rain," another boy said. "Well, if I cannot find honey in the rain, then I will wait till the rain stops." And as these words left Atilola's mouth, the heavens opened and it began to rain. and Atilola was left all alone. The heavens poured its contents in sheets and in buckets, and the water flooded the entire valley. And there was nowhere for Atilola to hide. He noticed an odon tree a distance away, so he rushed to it and tried to climb the tree. But as he tried to, he slipped and fell into the water. The water began to carry Atilola down the valley towards the very big river. Atilola shouted, but water rushed into his mouth, and then he began to sink. Ijakpa the tortoise likes to fish when it rained. He believed the rain flushes out all the reluctant fish hiding amongst the grasses at the bottom of the stream. So whenever it rained, he would set his net and catch a lot of fish. On that day, as Ijakpa walked, he thought he had heard something. So he stopped and he listened, but then decided that he had heard nothing. That day, Ijakpa set his net, and all he needed to do was wait. And not so long, he felt a big tug on the net. The force of the tug made him know he had made a very big catch. Do you know what this big catch was?
The boy.
Exactly, Atilola. Atilola woke up very slowly. He looked around and wondered if it was all a dream. And when he saw Ijakpa the tortoise, he was scared. But Ijakpa narrated how he had rescued him from the flood, and Atilola was grateful. Ijakpa made a very big fire and prepared Atilola a very hot bowl of soup. Ijakpa is not a very generous person, so all this while, he was busy thinking what he could gain from this unsuspected boy. Now his questions were quickly answered when Atilola had finished his bowl of soup and curled up on a mat by the side of the house. And before he fell asleep, he began to sing in the most beautiful voice the tortoise has ever heard. He sang a lullaby that his mother used to sing for him when he was a child. Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Bọ́mọ mi dàgbà á ṣoríire.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Bọ́mọ mi dàgbà á dọlọ́lá o.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
Ọmọ ain't pẹ́ dàgbà.
The tortoise was mesmerized by the song. He swayed his head in rhythm as a mischievous plan built up in his head. Now he knew what he was going to do with his guest. So the minute Atilola fell asleep, the tortoise crawled out and went to his backyard. And he began to make a very big wooden drum. He worked on this drum all night, and by morning, when Atilola woke up, he asked Atilola to hop into the drum. Why will I hop into the drum? Atilola asked. It's because I just made it, the tortoise said innocently, and I want to test it. After all, it won't be a huge favor asking you to do this, knowing that I saved you from the flood. Is it? Atilola felt he was indebted to the tortoise, so he hopped into the drum, and the tortoise sealed it up with animal hide. he ordered Atilola to sing Omo o Eikpe Dagba anytime he tapped on it. Atilola's mother had stayed awake all night. She was so worried. The nights before, when the rain had started, she wondered where on earth her son had gone to and waited for him to return. And by the time the rain subsided, she went visiting every of Atilola's friends. And each one of them narrated the same story of how Atilola was bent on looking for honey instead of coming back home. She wailed and cried, "Who will help me?" And she prayed that her son will come back home. A search party was organized to look for Atilola. So they went down the valley and searched, but there was no trace of Atilola. When they came back home without Atilola, his parents prepared their mind for the worst news. The tortoise, unaware of this commotion, went to the village square and began to shout, "Everybody, come and see my singing drum. It's the most beautiful thing you can ever experience." So people began to gather in the village square. As the tortoise tapped the drum, Atilola sang from within, "Omo Eikpe Dagba, Omo Eikpe Dagba, Ẹ̀bọ́mọ mi dàgbà aṣoríire, Ẹ̀bọ́mọ mi dàgbà adọ́lọ́lá o, Ọmọ Eikpe Dagba." The village people enjoyed the song as they danced to it. They threw their caps and headgears on the floor and began to dance and roll themselves on the floor. Very soon the news went round about the singing drum, and the king summoned Ijakpa to the palace. He was very much interested in the singing drum. When Ijakpa got there, he was asked to play, but he said he wouldn't, except he was paid in gold. So the king dipped his hand into his fortune chest and brought out gold. The tortoise beat the drum, and as Atilola sang, everybody danced. The king could not help seeing a woman crying on the corner. "Stop the music," the king said. And a woman was brought forward to him. "Why are you crying?" he asked. "My king, that is the voice of my son." The king quickly asked the guards to tear open the drum and bring out whatever was inside of it. And when it was open, there was Atilola. He stepped out slowly, blinking against the bright sun. Atilola was happy to see his parents again, and they all cried tears of joy. The king ordered that the tortoise be thrown into jail, but the tortoise quickly defended himself, explaining how he had rescued Atilola from the flood. And after giving it a second thought, the king decided to set the tortoise free, but warned him to desist from such actions. He took back his bag of gold for a good measure. Atilola was reunited with his parents again, and after being so hungry, he smiled, knowing that once again he would enjoy his favorite food of beans and plantain. So children, what have you learned from the story?
It is not good to be disobedient.
It is not good to be disobedient.
It's good to listen to your parents.
It is good, it is always good to listen to your parents.
Always listen to good advice.
Always listen to good advice. If Atilola had listened to his friends in the forest, he wouldn't have found himself in such a problem. Atilola knew from this time that it was his disobedience that led him into this trouble. So children, always remember that the words of elders are words of wisdom. So children, let's say bye to our viewers out there. Bye. Welcome to the African Adventure Craft Time. Today we shall be making the talking drum. Remember to ask an adult for assistance in using sharp objects like scissors and blades. To make the drums, you'll need 1. A plastic cup, 2. Rubber balloons, 2 pieces, 3. Gum, 4. Rubber bands, 5. A knife, 6. Scissors, and 7. Strings. Cut off the base of the cup and apply glue to it. Bring the bases of the 2 cups together to form a single cup. Cut the bottom of each balloon and apply it to the face of the cup. Hold it in place using rubber bands. Take the string and make a strap using it. Paint the cups to any color you want. Have fun by beating the drum. Children, thank you so much for joining us today on An African Adventure. I hope you've learned enough to share with your families, friends, and siblings. Do not forget that words of elders are words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Ó dàbọ̀.